It is said that the people of the Serac Wastes are dreamers, artists, and visionaries. The strength of this oldest civilization comes from their dreams for a better life, a happier life. But these people even still remember a time when dreams brought nothing but pain, knowing even now that to put too much stock in their dreams is a risk to themselves and to the world. It was in the early days of the Serac Waste Empire. A young sultan had just risen to power, a man of drive and focus. He appeared to be a man hungry for power, a man that could lead this fledgling nation into the greatest standing on the world stage. His ambition proved to be the result of his dreaming. He dreamt of a world within which he was a sultan. He dreamt of a world within which his nation stood head and shoulders above the rest in power. This is what he dreamed of, and this is what he accomplished. What the stories never mentioned is exactly how he gained these ambitions. Long before this man was ever a sultan, before this man was even a lord or a respectable member of his clan, he was a dreamer. One night in his dreams he was visited by a beautiful woman with red silks and an almost ethereal nature to her visage. She spoke to him of power and position, and promised him all that and more, should he pledge himself to her. Without hesitation he did so, forever changing his fate and the fate of the world. As the years went on, this young man rose to be the next in line as lord of his clan, then onward still to become the reigning sultan. Only then did the woman return to his dreams, as he lay in the lavish silks and incense of his royal chamber. This time she spoke of battles to be won, territory to conquer, and people to lead on the righteous path. He asked her what he must do to obtain this, and she smiled kindly before simply asking for a temple within his palace and a fresh bouquet of flowers each day as a symbol of his love for her. Without hesitation, the man agreed, beginning construction on the temple the very next day. He created for her the most exquisite temple made of gold and red stained glass, with draped red silks hanging by the yard throughout the entire structure. Each day he would walk the garden, taking fresh-cut rose cuttings to the altar at the foot of the statue that she had carved within there. The man was happy, and his heart grew fond of the woman in his dreams. In time, battles did come and go, the soldiers of this sultan's army outmatching the wild people of the desert, pushing their border of their civilization out far beyond the salt plains of their original kingdom. It was then, once again, that the woman appeared to the man in a dream. This time, it was the man that spoke first. He spoke of love. He spoke of devotion. He made her a promise. He promised his heart and his soul, his entire being to her, in an act of devotion for all of his days, vowing to make her his bride, his queen, unequaled in power and respect. At this, the woman blushed, and offered him a promise in return for his proclamation of love. She would indeed marry the man, if he would find a way to reach her. If he could reach her on her home plane, she would marry him before the gods and all of existence on her plane of Elysium. Ecstatic, the man began his research, bending the full cerebral might of the Serac Waste to the task of finding a way to bridge the gap to the plane of Elysium. But as years went on, and the research continued, he felt his love falter. And years later, when the task was to be completed, the man faltered entirely. He had a love in his heart, surely, for the woman in his dreams, but how could he believe that there was this woman waiting for him beyond the plains? In an act of desperation, he found a woman that resembled the woman in his dreams, hoping to recreate the love that he had with her in the waking world. He married this woman from his kingdom, made her his queen, but on the night of their wedding, he had another dream. The goddess, the woman from his dreams, had seen what he had done, and she felt betrayed. In a rage, the crimson silks that she was dressed in, this crimson silk wedding dress and bridal veil, whipped in the wind. They began to smother the man in a nightmarish parody of the love that he had once fallen for all of those years ago. When he awoke, he had killed his new bride, strangled her with a length of red silk in his sleep. The goddess did not return to him, not in his dreams, and his kingdom began to wither like a rose under the desert sun. In a desperate attempt to recreate the love that he once had, the man began rounding up all of the women in his realm that resembled the goddess from his dreams. He married each of them, and would spend a single wedding day happy within each of their embrace. Waking the following morning, he would find that he had strangled them all with the same red silks that he himself had been strangled with in that fateful dream. In time, with the kingdom faltering, its expansion halted, under this obsessive rule, the people rose up and stormed the castle, finding no guards, no staff. Instead, they found the bodies of all the strangled women, these dead brides throughout the castle's entryway and chambers, and the body of the mad sultan hanging from a length of crimson silk before the statue of his goddess within the temple he built for her. A bouquet of fresh-cut roses withering at the altar. His final words were written in blood across the wall behind her. I go to live with her in Carceri.